Tom and Jerry, oh man, this thing began in 1940, and there's like over 800 different shorts, episodes, and movies. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff, and there's also surprisingly a lot of crazy trivia revolving around the Tom and Jerry cartoons and movies. This is an iceberg, and like any iceberg, the more you go down, it gets deeper and deeper, and the stuff gets weirder and weirder and weirder. The Tom and Jerry comedy show will not be covered in this iceberg due to its negative reviews, its terrible synthesized score, poor sound effects, bad voice acting, the poor usage of slapstick, and overall poor low-budget animation and pacing. I should also note in that show, Tom is punished for literally no reason other than the fact that just because. All I have to pretty much say is Kitty Hawk Kitty, and that's pretty much it. I'll put in a review of the show in the video description. Now that I am done ranting about a cartoon that didn't even last about an entire year, we can now begin with the sky of the iceberg. Theatrical shorts. This refers to the Tom and Jerry shorts that were made between 1940 and 1967. There are a total of 161 shorts that were made throughout the golden age of animation. General audiences refers to the fact that Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes are kind of crazy violent stuff, but are still rated G, because the original shorts weren't rated back in the day. So, yeah, that's why it's just general audiences. Some episodes of Tom and Jerry are rated PG now. Tom and Jerry, the first movie. This is a joke entry, but it is still factual. The first Tom and Jerry movie was made by Cinemax, and it was about Tom and Jerry on a quest to cut a girl named Robin to her home. It's not well liked due to it being a musical and the fact that Tom and Jerry talk, but I don't think it's because of either of those things. I think it's just that both it and the next entry we're talking about both involve shoving in like a female lead above the cat and mouse that you literally came to see, so that's what I think. The movie isn't really about them, so they're just shoved in and forced in as sidekicks. The most recent Tom and Jerry movie is the same movie that's been splatted onto HBO Max because pandemic. The film is basically about Jerry taking refuge in a hotel and Tom teaming up with a young employee to exterminate Jerry before the wedding is held and is set to take place. Chloe Grace Moretz, who voices the employee, who is Kayla, is shoehorned in as the main lead while putting Tom and Jerry on the sidelines. So that's kind of what I think. Why this movie failed. She was forced in there, and not the cat and mouse. Spin-offs refer to television series such as The Tom and Jerry Show, both the 1975 and 2014 versions, Tom and Jerry Kids, and Tom and Jerry Tales. I've liked all of those, and I find them very fun to watch. Tales is my favorite out of all of those. Direct-to-DVD movies are basically movies that were basically shoved onto home video, and rather than simply being theatrically released or on broadcasting. Some of these movies include The Magic Ring and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. First appearing in Dumbhounded in 1943 by Tex Avery and redesigned by Claude Smith, Droopy is a dog, or some sort of basset hound. He had appeared in 24 theatrical cartoons during the golden age of animation. He now rests in with Warner. He cameos in both theatrical Tom and Jerry movies, and also mainly is in the direct-to-DVD ones as well. Chuck Jones is mainly known for making Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner shorts, but he made a couple of Tom and Jerry's, beginning with 1963's Penthouse Mouse and ending in 1967's Perchance to Dream. Theatrical short collections refer to the Tom and Jerry Golden Collection, which is a 2-disc DVD and Blu-ray set. This only features about the first 37 Tom and Jerry shorts, all featured in the original 1:37:1 aspect ratio. The Golden Collection as a separate volume, with 42 remastered theatrical shorts. HBO Max refers to the Tom and Jerry special shorts being on a roll in the house that Cat built, premiering on the HBO streaming service for the Tom and Jerry featured film as a promotional thing. These are made by the people who made the Looney Tunes cartoons, and honestly, these are just really good. That's all I can say. Itchy and Scratchy is a fictional animated television series in the Simpsons universe starring both Itchy and Scratchy. It's a part of the Krusty Krab show, which itself is an animated cartoon. It's basically very, very violent, and it's just overall just a very fun cartoon that Lisa and Bart love watching very much. Gene Dinch, working on Rembrandt Films, produced Tom and Jerry shorts in Prague. 13 of them were made, and by 1961, the series became the highest-grossing animated short film series of that time, and it featured on the Looney Tunes for a short while. Both these shorts and the Chuck Jones shorts were put into, theatrical DVD disc collections. Created by NetEase Games, Tom and Jerry Chase is a multiplayer action game in which 4 mice face off against a cat and a specific map, with hazards and items. The mice have to collect a total of 5 pieces of cheese and shove them through mouse holes and open up a crack in order to escape. So you have to escape in order to win. And Tom, or any other cat, has to simply dispatch all of the other mice in order to win. You have to dispatch a total of 3 mice if you are said cat. One of the characters who has debuted in a playable role is Meathead for the first time. You should technically check out the rest of the videos that are in the Tom and Jerry Chase Week, as those are also related to this segment of the Iceberg. Most of the music you're hearing in this so far is the lobby themes that the game has. There are segments in the Tom and Jerry show, the 2014 version, that talk about the cat and mouse detectives. These segments in the Tom and Jerry show, the 2014 one, involve Tom and Jerry operating a detective agency. Feline Fatale was the first episode of the entirety of Tom and Jerry show, and their segments have stayed since the first season, and have adapted to the new art style that the show presents, which is different from the footage you're seeing right now. But yeah, you should probably go and still watch these if you want. Sarah Bearer is an American television and radio voice actress. She has voiced Nancy in Baby Puss, and she is mostly known for voicing Toots in The Zoot Cat, and Jerry, and Anchors Aweigh. Note that she did a line for Jerry in said Zoot Cat short. The line was,
what's cooking, Toot?
Anchors Aweigh is a 1945 film. And in this film, there's a scene in which Gene Kelly, who plays Joseph Barley, is dancing with Jerry Mouse. Sarah Bearer is uncredited for voicing him, but we should note that the whole plot point of the dance is that he's trying to bring happiness to Jerry and joy to the forest animals of his kingdom. They originally wanted Mickey to be here, but apparently Roy Disney didn't like that idea, and also the fact that, well, the Disney company was in financial debt at the time, after the events of World War II. Kelly's movements are actually photographed, so they fit in and make him and Jerry on the same plane. Tom and Jerry appear in the 1953 film Dangerous When Wet, in a dream sequence that takes place in a comic book, and yeah, that's pretty much what this iceberg is, just their appearance in that movie. A lot of Tom and Jerry games have existed throughout our time. Some of these include Tom and Jerry War of the Whiskers, Tom and Jerry and Fist of Fury, and Tom and Jerry and Infernal Escape. And yeah, there's even one for Tails as well. Jasper and Jinx are the original names of Tom and Jerry and their debut short Puss Gets the Boot. That's it, that's the entry. This refers to the 7 Tom and Jerry cartoons in which Tom has canonically died. 2 of those being Mouse Trouble and the Yankee Doodle Mouse. Napoleon is a reoccurring character in the Tom and Jerry show, first appearing in the Dr. Bigsby segments in its first episode, Frankenkitty, on July 8th, 2014. He mainly only appears in these segments, which are 11 minutes long and are only in the first season of the Tom and Jerry show. Mammy Two Shoes is a reoccurring character in the Tom and Jerry MGM shorts. She first appears in Puss Gets the Boot, but referred to Tom as Jasper in that short, and every other short she refers to him as Thomas. The main gag she was in involved whacking Tom with a broom, and being scared of Jerry when they were both on screen. This character is heavily censored, as broadcast airings of Tom and Jerry shorts don't even air the cartoon that she's in, or heavily censor her like crazy. This is because of her name, literally being the Mampy stereotype used back in the day. Miss Two Shoes would be her successor in Tom and Jerry Tales, who basically has similar personality, though she is a white woman. I have no problem with this character. If they've changed the outfit and went into the comics and used like the same face that she had there, then it would be pretty fine, you know? The Yankee Doodle Mouse in a 1943 short depicts Tom and Jerry in a pseudo-warfare style. Tom later dies by the end of the short. A scene in which Jerry forced Tom to lick defense stamps for a savings book was cut from the episode, and it remains as lost media. Puss Gets the Boot is the longest Tom and Jerry short, capping at around 9 minutes. This is surprisingly a short centered for smoking, but it's actually because Mammy Two Shoes. Just gonna quickly say that William Hanna has voiced both Tom and Jerry in cartoons, like the Lonesome Mouse, for example. Hugh Hartman created a short called The Alley Cat. This is a 1941 short film by MGM that centers around Butch and Toodles Galore. Butch tries to swoon Toodles Galore, but the butler's not having it, so he sends his dog Gorbo over to catch him. That's kinda sort of what it is. He does outwit the dog throughout the entirety of the film, however. Butch wouldn't appear until Lady Puss, and Toodles Galore wouldn't appear until Springtime for Thomas. Tom and Jerry cartoons came out at a time where there was no age rating for them, thus having stunk like this. What the heck is this? Blackface has mainly been used in Tom and Jerry as a sort of visual gag, mainly for when characters are blown up. Blackface began in the 1830s. It involved black men darkening their faces to create caricatures of black people. They would often be characterizing them as ignorant, hypersexual, and very lazy, and they are prone to thievery and cowardice. They also have beliefs or practices that result from ignorance. Warner Bros. Nowadays takes responsibility for this stuff, unlike Disney, who pretends it never even happened. The Droopy and Dribble segments of the Tom and Jerry Kids show involved Droopy getting a different job every episode, and Dribble following on his footsteps. Mick Wolf is the main antagonist of these, and they involve him and Droopy fighting over Miss Vavoom in some of the shorts. The spin-off, Droopy Master Detective, only lasted for 13 episodes before being pulled from the Fox Kids network. Duke Steak Sausages on Reddit had stated a theory that said that Tom and Jerry were best friends, but Tom has to pretend to hate Jerry in order to protect Jerry, so Tom's owner doesn't replace him with a new cat that actually wants to kill Jerry. Tails Gets Trolled is a comic book in which Tails gets trolled and shenanigans ensue. Tails Gets Trolled contains a lot of blood and gore, crazy violence, and bullying. Tom in this fan comic is a neutral, meaning he has necromancy powers, meaning he can manipulate the dead with a bunch of strings and make them fight for his bidding. Jerry dies by drinking poisoned milk. In the webcomic, he is pronounced as Jari for some reason. Tails Gets Trolled is a weird, crazy book. Just be cautioned if you want to read it, because of how they say, well, you're gonna know. This refers to the wolf seen in a couple of one-off Tex Avery and Droopy cartoons. Debuting and dumbhounded along with Droopy, this character is only referred to as Killer. This character is known as McWolf because of Tom and Jerry Kids and Filmation Trash. The wolf also appears in Tom and Jerry Meet Sherlock Holmes and Tom and Jerry Robin Hood and His Merry Mouse. This just refers to the wolf scene in the Three Little Pups Droopy short. I don't know anything else to add aside from this fact that Spike cameos. These refer to shorts like Batty Baseball or Jerky Turkey, which are simply one-off shorts for the sake of being one-off shorts. There is no series with them. War Dogs is a mockumentary which mocks war. Spike and the St. Bernard from the Tom and Jerry short Putting on the Dog both cameo. This mainly refer to clothing such as Off-White, Reebok, and Rujuin Kenshin. Apparently that one has plush toys. Those are pretty snazzy. Suit, Tom. My man about to jump some chicks. All of Tom's screams are done by Hannah. His screams have been used for Jerry, Spike, and a couple of one-off MGM characters. I'll just place the title cards on screen. This person makes memes using her original Tom and Jerry human designs. This person is also sort of an animator. I wonder what she thinks of the poster of Tom and Jerry in New York. The Spike and Tyke shorts are spin-off of the Tom and Jerry's. These refer to Scat Cats and Give and Tyke. Cat Cats involved Butch's Alley Cat gang trying to sneak into George and Joanne's house. And Tyke revolves around Spike trying to protect his son from being caught by the dog catcher. These two shorts were made because the studio shut down after the spin-off series had started. And Jerry refers to Canary Rodent. These involve Tom and Jerry being stuck as cans for the first few seconds of the short. The Mansion Cat is a one-off made-for-television Tom and Jerry cartoon. This originally aired April 8, 2001. Aired once per hour during a Tom and Jerry marathon for Boomerang's 1-year anniversary. The owner is voiced by Joseph Barbera. It's a little in-joke this cartoon does. This was also released with the Powerpuff Girls movie. Cora is the name given to a female cat seen in Texas Tom and is one of the playable characters in Tom and Jerry Chase. Jerry wins her over by simply just kissing her. Karate Guard is a theatrical short released on September 27, 2005 and didn't air on television until January 27, 2006. This is the only Tom and Jerry short that Spike Brandt has ever directed. He would later work on the direct-to-DVD Tom and Jerry movies after this. This involved Spike trying to protect Jerry from Tom, who was trying to catch him. This one-reel short is 15 years old. Wow, I'm old. This is the name given to the cat in Tom and Jerry short Heavenly Puss. This character is also playable in Tom and Jerry Chase. His main goal is simply just to help cats get into the afterlife. Puff, Muff, and Puff are dead. Bear is an animated series of classic MGM shorts that started release on June 10, 1939. The title character is a bear who mainly wants peace and quiet. After the release of The Bear Who Can't Sleep in 1939, the character was given 15 years of shorts, having 26 of them under its belt. Like Tom and Jerry, he is in the first issue of the Our Gang comics. Character has also appeared in Filmation Trash, as well as some of the direct-to-DVD movies like Back to Oz and Robin Hood and His Merry Mouse, to mention Tom and Jerry Meet Sherlock Holmes, where he cameos. I know that in Tom and Jerry the movie there are scenes in which Tom and Jerry are holding a chainsaw and it says Acme on it, but I can't find footage of that, so let's just move on. Acme's funeral is a deleted scene in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It revolves around, trying to put this man to rest. Goofy is cracking jokes, interacting with Popeye, and Tom cameos in the corner. Disney's Hollywood Studios used to be Disney's MGM Studios. When the park was new, it wasn't just about Disney, but movies as a whole, which is why MGM was slapped onto the label. Tom and Jerry used to be meet and greet characters in the park. This does not refer to Butch Cat, but Butch Dog. This guy is not only the friend/rival to Droopy, but he also had his own short-lived series of shorts by MGM. He appeared in 21 theatrical shorts, 9 by himself and 12 with Droopy. He didn't appear in any Tom and Jerry related media until 2002's The Magic Ring. Room with Me and Saturday Morning Cartoons are MTV programs. They simply air theatrical shorts. Tune In With Me has a man named Bill and a fish named Toonie the Tuna in the wraparound segments, while Saturday Morning Cartoons just air, like, specific cartoons of a specific franchise with some of the one-off shorts the company has made of those characters. Herman and Catnip are basically the Paramount Studios/Famous Studios version of Tom and Jerry. Catnip didn't appear until 1950, which is when the show began, but other than that, it's basically just your run-of-the-mill Tom and Jerry slapstick, but a little bit more cruel. Herman also won every battle against Catnip. Is a running gag in Tom and Jerry. It involves Tom saying the lines, "Don't you believe it?" It's funny, cause it's creepy. You Believe It was an American radio program that aired during the late 30s and early 40s, and the program just showed facts along with debunking popular myths, and that was its tagline. Yeah, we're off the board of the iceberg. What do you think you're looking at? This is a YouTuber that makes original cartoons based around Transformers, Thomas the Tank Engine, Tom and Jerry, and Looney Tunes. I mean, they have Ralph and Davy, which are just their fan names, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Tom and Jerry are given visual designs, and they also talk in some of these.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. A cat woman owning a cat? Next you'll be telling me that Toto from The Wizard of Oz is related to Charlie Dog from Looney Tunes.
Heck, I remember watching one of them, and it was basically an Elmer Fudd parody of the one where he is attacked by ants. Blue Cat Blues is an infamous Tom and Jerry episode. Released in 1956, it involves Tom meeting a white cat. The female white cat is kind of sort of like a gold digger, which is why she just ends up choosing Butch more often than Tom. This is a Tom and Jerry cartoon where Tom sells himself into slavery just to buy her an old rickety mobile, but Butch gives her a limousine. Not to mention that the short's ending is surprisingly really dark, but Tom and Jerry don't die, and the last short produced by MGM was Top Watchers. I almost forgot about the Tom and Jerry Swiss Cheese Spin ride. That ride is in the Warner Bros. World in Abu Dhabi. It's a spinning ride in which you are in a cheese which car, and you get to see Tom and Jerry doing some wicked antics. You know, basic chasing. Marinate You is a Tom and Jerry hookup animation by Cartoon Network, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah. Now, I'm not looking to marinate you, salt or season, stuff or baste you. I would never cure or grease you. Pepper, lard, preserve or spice you. All I really want to do is dare be friends with you. Now, I'm not looking to slice you up, cleave or mince or dash you up, desiccate you, amputate you, or to simply masticate you. All I really want to do is Jerry be friends with you. Yeah. And I'm not looking to flambe you, boil or blanch or barbecue you, microwave you, fricassee you, fry or steam or steep or stew you. All I really want to do is Jerry be friends with you. Tasty mouse, mouse pie, tastes nice. Oh yeah. Baby.
And that's it. That's the Tom and Jerry Iceberg. I have been working on this iceberg for the past 17 days. If you have seen my most popular video at this point, or my TikTok, I thank you. Because this is just for you. This was made for you because I want to make more content, and it is just good. It's a long process, but it is still really fun. I don't really think I've gotten, like, the baseness of, like, Tom and Jerry and, like, the Tex Avery characters smushed into, like, some of their cartoons as a whole. I could have featured a few more things, like some sort of hand puppet. Yeah, that exists. Those Tom and Jerry things kind of sort of have, need their own upload entirely, but thank you for watching to this point in the video, and, well, I'll see you guys soon. If you're wondering about the song, it's called Barking Mad, and it was used to introduce the Tom and Jerry shorts on Boomerang.